Good morning, everybody. For the record, my name is Ed Flynn, District 2 City Councilor. I'm also the chair of the Boston City Council Committee on Arts, Culture, Entertainment, Tourism, Special Events. Today is September 29th, and the exact time is 10:04. The hearing is being recorded. It is being live streamed at boston.gov/citycouncil-tv and broadcast on Xfinity Channel 8, RCN Channel 82, Fios Channel 964. Written comments may be sent to the committee email at ccc@ac@boston.gov and will be part of the record and available to all city councilors. Public testimony will be taken at the end of the hearing. Individuals we called up on in the order which they signed up will be given 2 minutes to testify. If you are interested in testifying in person, please add your name to the sign-up sheet near the entrance of the chamber. If you're looking to testify virtually, please email our central staff liaison, Megan Kavanaugh, at Megan, MEGHAN, Kavanaugh, KAVANAGH, at boston.gov for the link, and your name will be added to the list. Today's hearing is on docket number 1350, a message in order for the confirmation of the appointment of Napoleon Jones Henderson as Commissioner of the Boston Arts Commission for a term expiring June 1st, 2029. Docket number 1351, message in order for the confirmation of the appointment of Ian Altiver as a commissioner for the Boston Arts Commission for a term expiring January 1st, 2029. The final docket number is 1352. It's a message in order for the confirmation of the appointment of Caitlin Gould Lowry as a commissioner for the Boston Arts Commission for a term expiring August 1st, 2029. These matters were sponsored by Mayor Michelle Wu and were referred to the committee on July 9th, 2025. I do expect some of my city councilors will be arriving shortly, and once they do, I will recognize them and ask them if they also want to provide an opening statement. Thank you, Director Goodfellow, and our appointees, Napoleon, Ian, and Caitlin, for being with us this morning. It's critical that the City of Boston fosters the creation and collection of artwork that reflects the people, ideas, histories, and future of Boston. The Boston Arts Commission aims to commission and approve artwork that engage our communities and directly respond to the urban environment. I look forward to learning more about each of you and what you will bring to the Boston Arts Commission and just want to acknowledge how important the arts and culture and music is. Last night, I had the opportunity to attend an event in Dorchester in celebration, in recognition, in honor of the Vietnamese community and the incredible sacrifices, really, and contributions they have made to our city and our nation. And it was a wonderful event. And whether it was through music, it was through arts, through culture, but this night was through arts, but it really had a unique way of bringing us, an important way, of bringing us together as a city, as a country, especially during challenging time as we celebrate the enormous contributions that the Vietnamese community play. Just one small example. I'd also like to recognize from the city administration, Karen Goodfellow, who's the director of Boston Arts Commission, the Mayor's Office of Arts and Culture. We recognize and mention the 3 appointees. At this time, let me ask the director of the Boston Arts Commission if you would like to speak and maybe introduce the 3 nominees here and then give them an opportunity to provide an opening statement. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you, Councilor. Yeah, good morning. Thank you for having us here this morning. We're really grateful to be here. And I'd love to introduce you a little bit to the 3 people, really incredible people from our arts community in Boston who have offered their time both today and over the next 5 to 10 years in service to Boston's public art. Immediately to my left is Napoleon Jones Henderson, whom I've known for a long time, but first got to know very well when we commissioned him when the City of Boston and the Mayor's Office of Arts and, what is now the Mayor's Office of Arts and Culture, commissioned him as an artist. And he has done a really important piece at the Bowling Building entitled Roxbury Rhapsody, which was there was just a talk given at it, I think a week or 2 ago. A really important piece. And so Napoleon very well understands the importance of commissioning artworks, especially by our incredibly talented and celebrated local artists. So Napoleon will be bringing that really wonderful perspective of having, applied for a project, received a project, fabricated and installed a piece, and continued to be engaged with it. We're also joined by Caitlin, who is joining us from the Gardner Museum, who is one of our really important partners in many ways to the City of Boston, and she will bring that institutional knowledge and collaboration, and I hope in a way will continue to help the way they have most recently through the Boston Public Art Triennial, as has the MFA, been doing more public art and really bringing the resources that great institution has to the people of Boston. Very similarly, Ian, curator at the MFA, who also knows Napoleon's work and has been working and connecting with local artists since he first joined us in the City of Boston, and has brought pieces outside of the doors of the MFA into the public, and is, steadily learning and displaying a lot of curiosity about how to better bring the incredible talent held within the museum to the people of Boston.
Thank you. Could I ask each person if you'd like to provide an opening statement or something that's important to you that the committee should know about as we vote on this? And it's probably likely we're going to take up a vote on Wednesday, but I'll file a report on Wednesday during the council session and talk about your background and experiences. But whatever you provide me will be helpful for me to encourage and explain the backgrounds of each applicant.
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity, and I would simply say Karen has done an excellent job of giving an overview of myself, but more specifically, I would say that I have spent the better part of now 51 years here in the city of Boston, coming here from Chicago to teach at Mass College of Art, and I've spent all these considerable years not only pursuing an active art practice of my own, but being involved with the larger community of artists, up-and-coming artists, from being students in my classes to individuals who have become mentees of mine and just the general art community across the board. And so I've had a rather exciting 50 years of interacting with not only the city of Boston, but with the local communities which I've been located in at the present address for the full 50 years I've been here. So I've been at a permanent hub, which has allowed me, with the resources that I have in terms of the artists I know internationally and nationally, that whose works I have in my own personal collection. So I've been able to share all of that as well as my own personal studio work, which will again be on view this weekend. Roxbury's Open Studio coming up 4th and 5th of October. So I've just simply been an instrument, I feel, within the larger community, and I've been enriched by the artists in the larger community that have supported and participated with me throughout all these years. So I think I have a good resource of understanding of the community at large that I'd like to offer to the services of the Commission in the City of Boston in this formal manner.
Well, thank you, Napoleon.
You're welcome.
Next, could I go to Caitlin, if you'd like to give an opening statement?
Yes, thank you so much. It is an honor to be here. I'm very nervous, but it's hard to follow up with Napoleon. I do not have 51 years of experience, but I have been the director of exhibition planning at the Isabella Stewart Gardner now for 4 years. And in that role, I think I can take, as Karen said, the work that we've been doing with community and with outreach and of trying to create welcoming places and spaces that are not just in the walls, but also outside of the walls. I think I also might bring a kind of a practical approach, because a lot of what I do is logistics and planning, and really helping to kind of put on that hat as we think about some of the challenges and opportunities of the different pieces. And I'm just very passionate about public art. I think it does so much to bring people together, to create dialogue and conversation. I live in Charlestown, and we just did a big, beautiful installation down in the Navy Yard, and I can't tell you how many friends want to go on walks and gather together. And so I want to be able to continue those types of interventions that can just beautify and make our city a more beautiful and enriched place.
Thank you, Caitlin. Ian?
Thanks so much. I too am very honored to be here and thrilled that as a relatively new arrival in Boston, I moved here almost exactly 2 years ago to take a role at the MFA Boston to run the Department of Contemporary Art there. But for more than 20 years, my practice as a curator has been working with living artists. And so in terms of that activity, I think that's one of the things I'm very excited about in a role as a commissioner. Most recently at the MFA Boston, we inaugurated, as part of the Boston Public Art Triennial, a new project with the artist Alan Michelson, who is a native to Boston. He spent his years, ages 8 to college here in the city, and passed the MFA every day on his travels to and from school. And now he has a commission at the entrance of the museum. It's the first of our Huntington Avenue entrance commissions, and it was engineered in a way by Alan and by us to be a project that welcomes visitors into the building, creates a sense of community there on the steps of the building, and to participate in this larger initiative around the city that is public-facing. So it's been fascinating to get to know the city through the Public Art Triennial, through my practice at the museum. We acquired a work of Napoleon's just 2 years ago when I first arrived, and it's been a thrill, and I look very much forward to the opportunity of participating further in the fabric of culture in this city.
Well, thank you, Ian. Thank you, Napoleon. Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Caitlin. We're also joined by City Councilor Erin Murphy. Councilor Murphy, would you like to give an opening statement?
Just thank you, Chair. Sorry I'm a few minutes late. Just happy to be here and hear directly from you and the work you do across the city. It's important that we, the arts is what keeps many people, right, getting up out of bed and enjoying life. And in, every neighborhood, and not just like, we have a lot of our museums downtown area, but we know that each neighborhood brings so much art and life to the fabric of our community. So just happy to learn more about what you want to bring to this role, and looking forward to supporting that going forward. So thank you.
Thank you, Council Murphy. We'll start a Q&A, and if other councilors come in, we'll include them as well. And then we'll take public testimony and maybe give closing statements as well. So maybe I'll start, and then I'll pass it along to Councilor Murphy. And although I'm not going to do the time clock here, each council can take the appropriate time that they think is necessary to ask the questions that are important to them. So maybe my question is to all of you, and without asking the question about why you want the job, and I do know that you would do a tremendous job here. Just explain to me, if you were in this position, in this committee, how would you bring residents together? How would you bring residents living in public housing together? How could they benefit in learning about art and culture? How could immigrant neighbors learn about art and culture and other communities of color? So just kind of a general question, and just wanted to hear your thoughts about that. So if anyone could start, and then each person can take a minute or so, 2 minutes.
I guess since I'm the senior member here,
Yeah.
I'll take advantage of that.
Napoleon, you're on the hot seat.
Now, I would say that my entire career has been an engagement with the larger community. And in my individual personal travels, as well as my interaction with artists from all around the world who have come to Boston through various avenues, that have found their way through my house and my studio. And my studio has always been an open space for the larger community where I live, and by extension, the larger community of Boston as a whole. So I have been, if you will, blessed to have acquired a sizable collection of original art. I have a sizable library of art books and other kinds of resources that I have always made available to the larger community and younger artists coming up. So I came here to teach. Being an academic is a part of what I do, and being a practicing artist, that's the other part of what I do, and the two are commingled all the time. So I think I do bring a vast resource of not only practice, but relationships with the community and with other artists, the local community and the international community that filters through my studio practice in my life. So that's something I would surely be bringing to the commission via our activities.
Thank you, Napoleon. Caitlin?
I think it's really important to engage with all the different communities, if it's marginalized communities or communities that don't feel like maybe that they're welcome, to go to them. I think that however it happens, it's about showing up there so that they can feel heard, and it's just about a lot of listening, especially at the beginning. What do they want? What does art mean to them? What does it look like? It might be very different from what I think or from what the commission thinks. So it's just about having that that space for them to be able to articulate what would be meaningful in their communities and going there. So I think that would be a start.
Thank you, Caitlin. Ian?
I love Caitlin's answer, too. I think another way that one can approach this question, which is a super good one, is about representation. And I think folks want to see themselves represented in the kind of production of this cultural production of the city. And as much has been very clear to me in my in my work as a curator. When I arrived at the MFA in Boston, there was already a project underway to diversify the collection, to make sure that we were representing all of the populations of Boston. And that's something we've doubled down on in my department in the past 2 years with not only the commission I spoke about, an indigenous artist who is honoring local indigenous communities in the work that he made for us, but also in our new collection galleries for contemporary art, where artists from all around the world represent all kinds of diverse stories and experience in the galleries. So I do agree, though, that it is also about meeting people where they are. And it's been clear to us from some interesting surveys we've been taking about folks' reactions to the commission, for example, that the question of what public art is has a lot to do with not what's on the facade of the museum, but rather what's on their corner in their own neighborhood. That's easily accessible to them and something that meets them where they are.
Thank you, Ian. Napoleon, just one quick question. This weekend, the Open Studios in Roxbury, what day is that on? Is that Saturday and Sunday?
Yes, Saturday and Sunday, October 4th and 5th,
And what time does that go till?
from 11 o'clock to 5 o'clock, both Saturday and Sunday.
All right, I'm gonna go over there and I'm gonna say hello to you. I'm looking forward to it.
The house is
We,
amazing.
we,
Yeah.
we look forward to it.
Thank
It's an
you.
incredible place to visit.
Maybe one final question. So at your open studio on the weekend, do you get a chance to talk to young people about how important art and culture and music is to their education as they grow up, and how it can be impactful to them?
Absolutely, because for the most part, Open Studio, not just in Roxbury, but all the open studios, encourage and support families coming. So it's not just simply, it's not an event that occurs for artists and artists alone. It's the larger community, and that's the sharing of the artists by congregating themselves in these locations. And like myself, in my own personal studio, the young people have the opportunity to actually see how an artist actually lives, and that is really not necessarily all that different than the way that they live. It's just that I'm making more or less the works that I have in my home, where they purchase them and have them in their home, but nonetheless, they are excited about being able to come and see how an artist actually lives and what's involved in being a creative person. And many times, well, I've lived long enough to have experienced some of them having grown up through workshops and things that I've done, and I've run across them either on the street corner or at the museum, and they'll say, "Hey, Mr. Jones Henderson, remember me?"
Yeah.
I said, well, vaguely. Well, I was in Hennigan Public School when you came and did an art class and such and such and such. I said, well, apparently it worked.
Yeah.
Because you're here at the museum and we're running into each other. So, yes, they get that kind of encouragement and they get that type of an opportunity by visiting with their congregated art. And this is actually the 26th annual Roxbury Open Studio.
Okay. Well, thank you to all three of you. Napoleon, thank you. It's great to know that you'll be there, but that's the type of leader you are, is being visible in the community, interacting with residents, taking questions, explaining what you're working on, and I think you're a tremendous role model for young people that do want to get involved in arts and culture and music. So just want to say thank you to all three of you. At this time, let me ask Councilor Murphy if you'd like to ask any questions.
Thank you. And, I mean, I think it's so wonderful that this commission approves new public art and maintaining the existing artwork. And for many, it may be the only artwork they see, right? Because if you're driving by or, you know, walking along the Greenway and you see new artwork go up many times, and we saw this through the Sundays for All that Council Flynn and I really advocated to make sure every family in the city of Boston. We know many don't go into museums for lots of different reasons, many times financial reasons, but to know that, you know, you can be walking through Nubian Square, you can be coming, you know, across here from City Hall, even the hydrants, you know, when they're painted, or the boxes, just displaying different art is a wonderful thing across the city. That being said, are there any current public artworks that you like the best and why?
Do you want to go first for this one?
Sure, happily. Well, I've been quite taken by Napoleon's work, actually, which I first saw at Roxbury Community College. An incredible project he did for the library doors at first, which is now on display in a slightly different location. But visiting that site, I mean, so one of the amazing things about public art for folks who aren't in the neighborhood where it's installed is that sometimes it's fun to go and look for it. So you get to see new parts of the city. You get to see an incredibly vibrant part of the city when you go see Napoleon's work at the community college, and you realize this is a center for all kinds of activity, right? Not only learning, but also public events, study. And so for me, that was a real surprise and wonderful discovery, because I also was so fascinated in Napoleon's own background as a co-founder of AfriCobra in Chicago, someone who came to Boston in the 1970s and made a new home for himself here. And so it's actually through Napoleon's work that I began to discover the Boston that I know now. So that's one of my favorites.
I think a new favorite for me is part of the triennial is the Nicholas Galinon piece that's in the Evans Way Park. And he's a wonderful artist who I was at the Peabody Essex Museum up in Salem for a while before the Gardner. And we had a piece there that I really, really loved and was drawn to. And it was kind of sad that then I felt like I didn't get to see his work as much, and I kind of, I missed that. And so I was walking to work, getting off the T at Ruggles and doing my normal commute, and all of a sudden there it was. And it was so beautiful to see it, and I felt like I was, seeing an old friend, and that was really special. And what it's done for that park, it's not a huge piece, but it's really impactful, and I love seeing the students from Mass College of Art, that they're creating art, and they're chatting, and it's all around, and it's just a beautiful moment for a really fantastic artist to be there. So that's a current favorite.
Well, for myself, there are quite a number of pieces, but I think for me the most impactful piece that speaks to the question you asked about families and young children being encouraged is John Wilson's sculpture on the grounds of Roxbury Community College, which it sits there when people come home, go to work, they travel across that place, because you're looking at a man holding his child within his arms. He's sheltered and guarded and safe as a child to be able to seek whatever it is he might want to be in life. And it just happens to be a male figure, which speaks to the importance of men in being involved in their children's lives. And there is no better permanent kind of representation of that than this particular piece of John Wilson's, because it just exudes the emotion and the warmth and love that exists between the father and child. And the fact that the arms are interlocked around this child reading a book. And so for me, that particular piece speaks volumes in terms of just nurturing our children, nurturing our family, and being a pivotal piece at a learning institution that is an international institution of learning, Roxbury Community College is. So that would, for me, be the most important piece.
Thank you. Also, and you all have said this, and I know, believe it, that many times, especially public art right out on the street, people see themselves, right, and there's communities and neighborhoods across the city where there's, strong groups of people that many people may not realize live in that community. The recent painting that went up across from St. Monica's, that reflects, when people are painting the artwork on big cement walls now that really have a story behind it. Do you believe and agree? I know the veterans do a great job now. When we rededicate hero squares, we have the QR codes to kind of tell the story. But do you does the commission already do that for all of their public art? And if not, do you agree that that's something that we should have along with it so people can learn more?
Yeah, so we actually just very recently contracted, for someone to help us develop signage. That project's being led by our public art registrar, Paul Zotov, who is here with us, working in collaboration with some of our project managers. But we have just, we're going into studying what we think the different types of signage we might have could be so that we can provide this educational information.
Yeah, it's great, because, I mean, they always say it shouldn't be the burden of those in the community to explain it, right? It should be our job to teach ourselves. So if there was QR codes and are there any public city-owned land that you already are thinking or have often thought should have public art? That doesn't yet, right? That.
Oh, do we have time? Things and tools? Yes, there are many, many, many places. There, I don't think you can have too much public art because public art is the interface of the community itself, and it allows the community to be energized in a manner that I think marries itself to the trees and shrubbery and the grass and the greenery of the community. It gives life to that community in a visual and aesthetic context that is, I think encouraging young people to think about the open space as something other than just simply a vacant lot, so to speak, or a vacant space that they travel through, or maybe once in a while get into some mischievous activity that they shouldn't do. But the art, I've found, encourages against that kind of activity and embraces a overflowing of creative thought by young people, and they're playing in those spaces when they have public works that are a part of that space.
I often think when you drive into the neighborhoods and it's that oval blue sign that says like, welcome to Dorchester, welcome to Beacon Hill, that they should be more individualized, like public art in each neighborhood to kind of, and it could rotate, right?
I was thinking, Counselor, about your question before this about signage, and then this question about where public art is, and it reminded me of another project in the Boston Public Art Triennial, which is not so much neighborhood-based, but it has an amazing story. It's the New Red Order work that's installed in Quincy Market, and it's really a touristy destination. But the story that those artists chose to tell as part of their project is an amazing, radical one about a kind of renegade pilgrim who established his own community in the 17th century outside of Plymouth, and who was advocating for a sort of radical pagan belief system. Obviously, the Puritans were not super happy to have him as a neighbor, but he was taking a lot of teaching and knowledge from the local indigenous communities. And the work they created for Quincy Market looks like a wacky tourist tchotchke that is larger than life, and so it catches your eye. There's something whimsical and kind of crazy about it. And then there's incredible signage next to it, which tells the story of this erstwhile community and this radical person who imagined a world of different kinds of possibilities that were about togetherness rather than being apart. So I feel like there are so many different ways and opportunities that art can engage the public. Doesn't just have to be a mural, although that's often what people think about when they think about public art. It could be something entirely different, like the sculpture that Napoleon described, for example. But there are, I agree, so many different corners that are still waiting for something special.
Can I say one more?
Of course.
Thank you. Also, I'll plug the arts in our public schools. My daughter is an art teacher for the Boston Public Schools. And do you already have a relationship or would consider a stronger commitment to having some student art on public display?
I love that idea. I have 2 kids who are at the Warren Prescott School in Charlestown, and their art program is fantastic. We just lost our art teacher, but we have a wonderful new one.
Your plays are wonderful.
You came to Tuck Everlasting. Yes,
Yeah.
my daughter was in it. It was it was incredible. So I do very much believe that getting young people involved in the arts is so important, and I to think about them being in a public space, the joy that would bring for them, for the community. It's essential, and I think you look at the talent, it's incredible what kids can do, so I would love to be, part of that, yeah.
Well, the mayor made good appointments, and I'm looking forward to supporting all of you, so thank you for the work you do.
Thank you.
And Council Flynn said he's going this weekend, so I'm adding it to my
Yeah,
calendar
right.
too. We share calendars sometimes. He reminds me of good events around the city, so thank you for all you do. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Murphy. At this time, I'm going to go to public testimony, if we have any. Okay. No public testimony. Maybe I'll ask one follow-up question to Karen. Karen, on some public art, I have seen, and maybe you have seen it too, and maybe the others in the panel have seen it, but some graffiti. When someone does paint a beautiful painting, you oftentimes, or occasionally maybe, you do see someone try to vandalize it with graffiti, and it really takes away from it. It takes away from the community, kind of divides the community in a way. But do we have any public education awareness campaign about when someone puts up a beautiful mural, why it's important in, trying to tear it down, trying to put graffiti on it? It really hurts the community and divides the community. But do you have any message about how we educate people about public art and respecting public art?
Public education around vandalism, we don't have a specific program educating around it, but what we've been really interested in doing is exploring ways to celebrate graffiti as an art form versus vandalism on someone else's artwork. So that's really where our focus on sort of public education has been. And then in terms of the logistics of being responsive, we work with conservators, and we try to route things through 311, so we're notified before other folks are, because sometimes when people go to clean the works with very good intentions, they use materials that are too harsh and end up doing damage to the artwork. So our focus has really been about trying to celebrate artworks, and in that way encourage people to embrace the artworks and not to vandalize. In the project Paint Box, which Councilor Murphy mentioned, painting the utility boxes, that was a lot of the origin of that back in 2008, was thinking about ways, how do we bring more art and also give opportunities to people who might want to express themselves, and how do we then support them with those expressions through funded opportunities. So those have been sort of our ways, and I think, going forward, we are right now in the process, hopefully, of hiring someone to focus on 2D arts. We're hiring for someone to take over what would have been someone focusing on murals in our department. So I'm hoping when they come in, we'll be able to better come up with more educational campaigns.
Okay. Could I respectfully ask if someone from your team could take a look at the mural on Tyler Street in Chinatown?
The vase?
Yeah, the beautiful mural
Yeah,
there.
it gets down at the bottom all the time, right?
Yeah, the
Brian
far.
B. Young's.
Yeah, the far left.
Okay. Yeah, we can take a look at that.
Okay.
Absolutely.
In one of the panel, or one of the panelists mentioned the art on the electric box.
Yeah, paint box, yeah.
Yeah, and one of the things I love doing is when I see someone painting like that, I love watching and, staying out of the way, of course, but trying to learn about it. And one person was painting about the history of the Asian worker in Chinatown and the contributions they have made to Chinatown. But the way they painted it was really captured the entire story of the Chinese community, and really even that little small box brought people together, brought immigrants together. So it was a wonderful, wonderful exhibit as far as I was concerned. Councilor Murphy, do you have anything else that you'd like to add?
No, just thank you, but thank you for mentioning the graffiti, and I hope that it doesn't come out of your budget. That is already not large enough, that when we need to clean any public art, that it's coming from city funds, that it's not something that's just on your department's responsibility. So we'll just make sure we look into that for you. But thank you all. Like I said, looking forward to the work you're gonna bring and the expertise that you'll bring to the public art, and looking forward to seeing more of it pop up around the city. Thank you.
Thank you, councilors.
Thank you, Council Murphy. Would Napoleon, Ian, or Caitlin, before we leave, before we finish the meeting, would you like to offer any closing statement?
Councilors, I just want to thank you again for being here with us this morning, for your efforts around art and culture in the city. It's so exciting to be a part of a city that cares about this, and the focus also on children and the arts is really a wonderful one. I have spent my first 2 years of the MFA doing 2 different community arts initiative projects where we work with almost 200 Boston school kids and an artist every year to create work for the MFA. And it's been a wonderful, and that's through 12 different community centers around the city. They come for sessions at the museum, the artist goes to them for sessions at their community center. This year's project is up for just another week or 2 more, but you can see it at the MFA. 193 kids from around the city participated in that project. And I'm grateful to be part of an organization, but also part of a city that really cares about its kids and wants to bring them arts and culture at an early age.
Thank you, Ian.
Yes, I just say thank you as well. And I think just going back to the Sundays and what I felt like the city really just put all their cards down and said that we want to be this place that has free museums for our kids. And it's just, so thank you for that. It's been an incredible to watch, as well as an institution and as a parent of kids who have are in the Boston Public Schools and who's, I talk to other parents who have felt like they can't afford or that museums are not a place for them. And so to have those walls be broken down in just these past few months has really been an amazing transformation. So I just wanted to say thank you, and thank you for this opportunity. When I was, approached, you do all of a sudden see more pockets around the city that could use art, right? All of a sudden it's like, oh, we could put something there, something could be there. And it's just been very fun, because I agree with Napoleon, is that there's never, too much art, that we can always add more and enrich these amazing communities that we have. So thank you.
Thank you, Caitlin. Napoleon?
I would just say ditto, ditto. And just in reference to your concern about graffiti on works of art, just around the corner from my house, where my studio is located, for 20 consecutive years, the community, in celebration of Juneteenth from 1982 to 2002, there were 3 brownstones that had the 4x8 sheets of plywood to keep people from going in and out of the building. We created a community mural there, which we refurbished every year in our Juneteenth celebration, and it was never once destroyed or vandalized. And actually, as a matter of fact, when they started the restoration of the buildings, they actually deeded them over to some individuals to make them into homes. I was in the South teaching, and my neighbors actually collected the panels and kept them for me because they knew I would want them. And they wanted them because they didn't want to see them destroyed, but they wanted someplace else to put them. We didn't have any place except for in my basement. They're still there. But nonetheless, they were never vandalized. And I think that we will see much less vandalizing of works of art, because the more people have works in their communities, the more they're encouraged to keep the beauty there.
Well, thank you, Napoleon. Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Caitlin, for the incredible work you do in our city. What you've been doing and what you'll continue to do is bring this city together through art, through music, through culture, through ensuring everybody is heard and everybody is respected. And want to say thank you for agreeing to be part of this wonderful, wonderful organization. Just next step is, it's likely I'll bring this forward for a vote on Wednesday. I'm going to recommend unanimously that we pass approval of these nominations, and I know my colleagues will support the incredible work that you have been doing and looking forward to working with you all as we go forward. So want to say thank you also to Megan Kavanaugh from City Council Central staff, and to Ethan, who's the camera guy back there. I want to say thank you to Ethan as well. Yeah, and this hearing on these dockets is now adjourned.